Hi there and welcome to the latest edition of Red Army TV. Here in the garden at the lovely Dickens Inn in downtown Boro. Got two fantastic heavyweight guests this week. Out on the right hand side is the editor of the fanzine Fly Me to the Moon, Rob Nichols. Rob, hello there, how are you doing?
Delighted to be here.
Fantastic. And ex-Boro legend, ex-Darlington man, I don't use the word legend very often, OG.
But I think you only do it if there's 400 games involved.
Ex-Darlow manager, Mr. Dave Hodgson. How are you, David? All right?
I'm very good as well, thank you.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Pleasure.
Look, it's a great time to be a Boro fan at the minute. We're going to chat about West Brom very shortly, but we've got some fan rants prior to the game. So let's have a chat. Let's have a look at what the fans had to say prior to the game.
Should be a close game, but I reckon 3-1 Boro.
3-1 Boro.
Aye. Be interested to see if Bessage starts.
2-1 to us.
2-1 to us.
Yeah.
We're going to win.
How many?
2-1.
2-1.
Go for it, just go for it. Just go for it. Don't sit off. If you went 3-0 at half time like Sheffield, do not take your foot off the gas. Because goal difference might count at the end of the season. Just go for it, alpha at the pan.
Well, that's what the fans had to say prior to the West Brom game. Lads, there was a lot of optimism kicking about.
Well, I'll be honest, I watched on the box, okay, which is always a nice thing to do. I think the ball was always going to be in Boro's court, Tony Pulis' court, simply because he knows their side inside out, give or take, most of the players. And I think when you're in a position like that, you're able to tell your team exactly what their strengths and weaknesses are as individuals leading up to the game as well, which is always going to put you in the right frame of mind. And then, of course, Tony apparently adjusted his setup to stop West Brom from the offensive side, and on the box it worked perfectly.
Rob, I mean, we're 5 games in,
Yeah.
unbeaten,
Yeah.
sat here now, it's great.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the start of the season, and we'd seen the pre-season friendlies. We're going to come on to Rochdale in a little bit. We'd seen the pre-season friendlies. Sat there now, honestly, did you think we'd be where we are now, 5 games in?
No way, especially as players were leaving. I was going to say arguably, but I think probably fairly definitely that our best 3 players had left the club. And 86 minutes into the Millwall game, we were losing 2-0, and fans were actually offered. I've never heard it ever before a match. There was an announcement saying if you want to leave on the 70th minute, that you could get a train now out of the ground, and quite a few that's just for Boro fans. Quite a few Boro fans went for that train, and so they didn't see that comeback. The 2 goals, 1 goal at the 87th minute, and 1 goal. Was it 6th minute of time added on? And how vital those goals have turned out to be.
It's sort of spared us on, hasn't it? So we've got to go back to the West Brom game. Odgie, you set us up really great. I mean, Pulis' old club, and to be fair, he got a sort of okay reception. I didn't hear anything too badly from the West Brom fans. And to be fair, you know, he was good for their club, wasn't he, really?
Well, without question, I think West Brom as a club, and the history of the club in terms of the way it played football, probably similar to the Boro. And I think the fans probably fell out of love with them because they weren't playing attractive football that they were paying money for and getting enjoyment out of it. So in a way, you probably know that he's not going to get the greatest reception. But I'll be honest with you, out of respect and what he'd done for the football club, I'm sure that was there, 100%. And the fact is, he's going to do exactly the same here. He's going to be very difficult to beat. He's going to get back into the Premier League. Whether the Boro fans will accept not having the attractive football to go with the Premier League, only time will tell. But he will get you there, 100% certain.
Rob, I mean, before we go on and speak about the goal and the later, the last couple of minutes, and we're going to go and have a look at some of the fan rants after the game as well. We've got that. Do you think, you know, Pulis' style of football's changed to what people were expecting to what we're seeing now last couple of games?
He's said a few times that he tailors the style of football to the players that are at a club when he arrives at that club. And last season, as I'm lucky enough to go to some of the press conferences, he was kind of pointing out some of the skillful players at the club, and he said, I like my teams to be very hard working, and I believe the people here are like that as well. That's what they look for. But I think we all like gifted players as well. And at the time he was talking about Patrick Bamford and Adama Traore. They're not here anymore, but that he said he wants to blend. And that's what we've seen. We've seen some very good football through midfield. We're not seeing big balls blasted forward, or not entirely that anyway. We're seeing a good mix.
Yeah,
and exciting football, I think.
It's certainly been far better than I expected. You know,
maybe take your cap off to him. And the fact is, he's learned from some of the things that was disliked about him as a manager at all these clubs, by the way. Okay, not just going back to West Brom. You can go back to Palace. You can go back to all the previous clubs he's been at. That he's now at that stage in his life thinking, you know what, I can change a little bit, I can bring a little bit of football into this, and I can still have the sides playing how I want them, or defending how I want them to defend. So you might be getting the better of Tony Pulis that the other clubs haven't had. That might be the case.
Well, hold them thoughts, fellas, about West Brom. Let's have a look at the fan rants after the game the other day.
Solid performance. I thought we held the midfield well, and we scored the last minute, which is always a bonus.
Getting there, I mean, makes a nice change after the last couple of seasons, but yeah, fantastic result.
Yeah, fantastic. I thought played really well. I think tactically, Pulis got it right. He played a blind, it was absolutely brilliant. Fantastic, and we scored at the right time, of course, 91st minute, so didn't give a chance to get back. So all in all, I thought it was a brilliant performance, excellent.
My thoughts on the match tonight, I thought that we should have had a couple of goals early on. I thought that Matt Phillips had 2 chances to get 2 yellow cards and be sent off, and I thought that justice was done in the end. And what a feeling at the end, how good was that? 90th minute, every Boro fan going home happy tonight. Get in.
Fantastic night, really controlled football from the boys. I thought the midfield were excellent against a fantastic potential championship winning team in West Brom. Coming off the back of a hammering of any team, I think we were awesome. I think Clayton was without doubt man of the match in my opinion. He has his detractors, but I think some of his tackling back was absolutely superb. And let's face it, we missed chances, we took one late on, and listen, that's going to have a few teams looking at us for the rest of the season and thinking, you know, this Boro team, they might just have something. Pulis can play it down all he likes, but we're in with a chance here. Come on, Boro.
Well fought. They were a good side, West Brom. We deserved the goal. I was so relieved when it went in, I'll be honest.
Absolutely fantastic, mate. Daniel Ayer was a wicked goal.
Up the Boro!
Up the Boro!
Some jubilant fans there, and so happy to see smiley faces. That's what I like to see. Look, fellas, I mean, Tony likes to play his way. 4 big lads at the back. We know that, don't we? You know, but we've spoke about it, how the football's been really good. They say good sides, Hodge, can score late on. True. Is that a good side?
It is. It's belief within the club. It's belief within the players. I think I seen the interviews after the game, and the lads actually said we believe that we're capable of scoring even at the last minute, you know, and that's normally team spirit. That's what carries that through.
I mean, I didn't particularly think, Rob, it was an outstanding game, but I always thought Boro were the better side. Did you?
Yeah, especially in the first half, I think we were pretty dominant, and then they came back into it. I would also make the point about we got really fit in the summer, and I don't think it's any coincidence that we're still running in the last few seconds of games and beyond those games. You know, if we'll come on to talk about the 2 League Cup games, the League Cup game this week, but Notts County game, that there's no extra time anymore. But we were absolutely hammering them at the end of that game. So every single game we look a lot fitter at the final whistle. So that helps.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously the substitute he made, obviously we seen obviously debut in Mo Besic coming back on, sort of lifted the crowd a little bit to see a new face coming in. And Rob, I think Tony's openly come out and said, hasn't he still wants a few more through the door.
Yeah.
One of his sons obviously is the local lad Youghal coming on.
What did the Dickens, he used to work here, didn't he?
Exactly, we're at the home of Youghal. But I mean, I seen a blog on social media this I think it was about 18 months ago, 2 years ago, maybe a bit longer.
Yeah.
He was playing for a local side,
right.
And then it showed a picture of him, obviously coming out for his hometown club. I mean, you've played for the club, Hodgie.
Yeah.
What's the lad feeling when he's running out with a Boro shirt on?
When he came on, I'm not a Boro lad, okay, but it was my adopted town in theory. And when he came on, I sort of felt what he'd be thinking and how he'd been desperate to probably score, you know. he didn't have any much chances in that game. But obviously in the cup game, of course, he got his header. But yeah, I understood where he'd be coming from in wanting to do well. You know, I seen him play at Preston quite a bit. Quite liked them. Thought he'd done very well. Target man, lacks one or two little things, but at the end of the day can certainly do job in the Championship. Hence the reason why he went to West Ham. But he got a bad injury, I think, didn't he? But no, I think it's a good signing. He's a Boro lad, so that's always going to be good in the changing room.
Great, fellas. Join us after the break when we chat about the League Cup, and obviously looking forward to the local derby, shall we say? Join us after the break. Welcome back to Red Army TV. We're here at the Dickens in the garden. Lovely place to be. It's Jordan Hugel's Dickens, I think I'm going to say.
Yeah.
One of our own. Anyway, fellas, we've got to talk about the cup game. Obviously another win in the cup, and obviously not another surprising lineup, because I think know the gaffer's made no bones about it that he's using the kids. Is that Odgie? Is that because we haven't got the reinforcements, or do you think he just has the kids' policy where he wants to play the kids?
Honestly, I think it's a good thing. Winning is crucial to a football club. Okay, like West Ham won last night, they needed a win. Okay, for Boro it was a different scenario by putting the kids out. It's given them a chance to see what he's got, strength and depth. Because you kind of judge in the 23s. To be honest with you, it's very difficult. So I think from a club policy point of view, I think it's a great thing. Now, go 3 rounds further on, will the kids play? I'm not too sure. So you'd probably go with a strong side then, because you're getting close to the winning point. But I think at that stage, yeah, fantastic. It's the right thing to do.
And to be fair, Rob, they haven't let the club down, have they? The kids, either the last round or this round. Really? They haven't let the club down, have they?
No, they've excited the fans. 16-year-old playing at centre back and being able to hold like big tough League One players at bay did really well.
I seen a press conference with Tony Pulis where he said that English football you don't just have to be technically good, but you've got to be able to be aggressive when you have to be. You've got to put your head in the box and header a ball. And to be fair, our kids last night, Odgie, that's other than probably say the last 10 minutes, where I'm sure we're going to come on to that in the last 10 minutes when we took the experience off, but they held their own, didn't they, for the majority of the game?
Well, I didn't actually see the game. I heard on the radio, but the policy of putting your head in has always existed, and that's a desire to win the ball, to be there before the opposition. So Tony's saying that, but it's there. It should always be in there. It doesn't matter what level you're playing at. But the kids, unfortunately, at the youth level, it's all ticky-tacky, and there isn't an awful lot of that in there. So that's why you get the chance to see which kids can step up into the man's league in theory. But the way that the Boro have always gone about the youth system is that they'll always deliver the kids, and they'll work when they're in the first team. They'll always deliver as well. So.
Now we're going to come on to a bit later on, fellas. We always chat about transfers, especially while obviously the loan window is open, and we'll chat a bit later on about that. But the 2 goal scorers, for instance, obviously Marvin Johnson, we're going to come on to in the transfers. He's been bandied about on social media and on some press that possibly he's maybe on his way out for a loan spell. He got himself a goal. He could play a big part within the team. I
think in the 2 cup games, he's a winger. He looks like a winger who's got his confidence back again. And if Tony Pulis has said he wants one fast flank player, he said he's mentioned left winger. I don't know what you think, Dave, but wingers can go in and out, can't they? They can lose that.
Yeah. If every 5 games, if you get 3 good ones, you've done well. And it's only because they roll out the pair. They've got to do the defensive side and the offensive side. Yeah. And if one or the other's not working in terms of offensively, normally the defensive thing goes wrong as well.
Yep.
And having been in management myself, the wingers are always the ones that when you're changing a game, you tend to pull them off.
Yeah,
and replace them.
Right.
And for which case, that's what you're going to get with a winger.
He looked on the ball last night. His crosses were really good.
When they're good, they're good.
Yeah, and he took his chance well. Yeah. And it was just the same as against Notts County. You can say it's lower league opposition.
Still got to do it.
But it looked like.
Well, you only play what's in front of you, can't
and he looked a different player to in pre-season, because I saw him play at Rochdale, and the difference in the confidence and taking players on.
Well, I mean, we were having a chat earlier, Rob, weren't we? It was near enough the same team, you said to me.
Yeah.
What finished the pre-season friendly what beat us, pipped us at the post, didn't they? Beat us 3-2.
They did.
And it was near enough the same team what finished in the cup game.
That's right, and that probably it's got to be the least experienced back four that I've ever seen playing for a Boro team, but with an experienced keeper in Lonergan behind them, which it's fantastic that they were able to hold out, really.
Remember, them 4 kids also play together every week in their respective
Yeah, that's very true.
So it's not as if they've been thrown in together. They're all together, so as a unit they know exactly how to work as a unit and how the job is no different in this game. In the game that they play in the youth, you still have to defend, and so putting 4 kids in, it's a little gamble, but at the same time, it works well.
So putting your management on OG, Marvin Johnson last night. Will Tony be looking at that? Bear in mind, we were after Balassi, weren't we? A winger.
Yeah, you know,
a quick player. We were after him. We know he's gone to Villa now. We know that's finished and dead. But could he be the option, like Rob's said? Could he be the option to stay and to be, that out-and-out winger, what he's after?
Well, it all depends if he's got another one in the pipeline and he's waiting to get confirmation that he can get him before he lets him go out. I mean, that's how I would do it from a management point. I wouldn't let a player go out the club not knowing that I've got a better replacement coming in.
Yeah.
So at the same time, the boy's not doing himself any harm by playing well. He's actually maybe just starting to sway Tony a bit and think, hold on, I don't need to let this kid go. We keep him and we let the next one go. We don't have to go for the next one, sorry. So, works like that.
And very quickly, fellas, before we go to see Matt at the social media, see what the people have got to say on the old Twittery thing. Obviously, Jordan Hugo, we spoke about him a lot. He scored his goal last night.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Is he the man who can fire the goals in, Rob?
Yeah, I think Tony Pulis said after the match he's still some way short of full fitness, and he's come back a lot quicker than we thought he would. But from what we saw,
and it was a bad injury, wasn't it?
Yeah, a bad one.
But a great player when he's played against us for Preston. So I'm really glad to see him pulling on the shirt for Middlesbrough.
You want 2 or 3 strikers scoring goals. One will have a dry patch, as long as the other 2 are scoring. So if you've got 3 in there who can score, then that's fantastic. And Hugo will get goals. He's proven at that level he can get it. So, and the fact is he's back in his hometown, which really should give you that little bit extra incentive.
Yeah, I mean, I seen him when he came on against West Brom. I mean, when the goal went in, he was absolutely arms up to the fans.
Yes,
he was like a fan himself, wasn't he?
Well, he is. Well, obviously, he is a fan. And but daft as it sounds, I mean, when I played for the Boro, when you went towards the Holgate end, it sort of just sucked that extra yard out of you. That's how he will feel.
Brilliant, fellas. Yeah. We've got loads of stuff coming in the old Twittery thing. Let's cross over to Matt and see what you've got to say.
Cheers, Mark. Well, there's been a lot of banter going on Twitter from Boro fans, and we've even got a Leeds fan in here. Starting off with Joel Nicholson. Joe, hello, mate. You said can't see Jordan Hugo starting against Leeds on Friday night. However, he's certainly given Pulis something to think about and a different option up front. Dan Berry, Leeds fan, he's put, laugh out loud, if Boro beat us, I'll get Pulis tattooed on my butt. Matt Rowney, we won't sell Braithwaite. If the recruitment team and the club have any sense, they'll keep him. If he hadn't played this season and been frozen out, then let him go. But he's been at the centre of our start, he's an absolute vital. It would be suicidal to let him go. And finally, Size Insights, he's put, Pulis has made me care about Boro again, something neither Agnew nor Monk could do. That's what matters. Keep your social media comments coming into us here at Red Army. Back to you, Mark.
Thanks, Matt. Just a quick one for that Leeds fan. If that scoreline, we beat it on Friday night, I want him sat here next to me, and we're going to book him in for that tattoo. What do you think, fellas?
Hey, why not?
He said it, not me.
Yeah, why not? Or better still, take a photograph of the tattoo and send it in.
Fellas, before we do go on to the Leeds game, which is obviously it's probably going to. I thought the West Brom was going to be a big test, and like I said, I didn't think they had much what came at us. I thought we dealt with them really well. Obviously, we're away to Leeds. We're going to come on very quickly. Couple of transfers. I want to speak very quickly on them. On social media, the Braithwaite saga, and I say the saga keeps going on, saying that he obviously wants to be away. Again, fellas, very quickly, unless anything comes in, he won't be going?
I wouldn't have thought so. You don't lessen your squad at this late stage. You just don't do it. And the only way you would do it is if you think you're going to end up with, and I don't like to say it, a bad apple, which can disrupt the camp, and everything at the moment looks very hunky-dory. And then it's a brave decision by Tony to say, let him go, get him out. other than that, you'd want to try and keep on to them if you have Camgo replacement.
Johnson and Fletcher. Rob, do you think they could possibly be loaned out? But again, do you think it's about people coming in?
I think he might loan out Fletcher again if that option, because he's still a young lad and he needs to play games. Johnson, I think if we get another winger in, but yeah, as Dave said, it's got to be. They've got to know now that they've got to get the player in first. Yeah. And I think with Braithwaite as well, they're not going. There's no way they're going to release him unless they get.
And he looks a class act as well, doesn't he?
Yeah,
yeah, he does.
World Cup player.
Exactly. And the last one before we go on to the Leeds game is the Jason Puncheon thing is sort of gathering a bit of momentum on social media and on the press. I think Roy Hodgson's come out and said that he would love him to go out and get more football because he can't offer him as much. Yeah. Hodgie, is he a good signing?
Listen, before the injury, when he was at Palace, funny enough, under Tony, I really liked the kid, and I thought this kid's got a great chance. He can probably become a very, very, very good player in the Premier League at the time. So I think it would be a fantastic signing. The negative is, will he leave the south to come to the north? I don't know. Yeah. Did he have a good relationship with Tony? If he did, then that sways it.
We're short of time. It's my fault. I like to talk on. Rob, prediction, Leeds away.
I'll always say a win, but it's Leeds. I'd like a draw.
Things are changing.
Prediction.
1-0 the Boro.
1-0 the Boro. Well, as always, fellas, I'm going to sit on the fence and say 3-0 to the Boro. Right, and by the way, due to popular belief, Hodgie never ever got sent off against Leeds. Join us next week on Red Army TV when we'll have two more fantastic guests. See you all next week.